magnetism is an attractive property shown by the magnets towards magnetic substances, which arises from the magnetic moment or magnetic dipole of a magnetic material. Moving on to the history of magnets. It was in 1953 that dental magnets was first used in orthodontics, where the repulsive forces and combinations were used to correct the various facial abnormalities. Friedman in 1953 used dental magnets in prosthodontics to maintain and seat the denture using the repulsion of the light poles. Later, attractive forces of magnets began to be used, and then the smaller cobalt platinum magnets were introduced, and in 1977, the powerful magnet samarium cobalt was introduced, which is even now very extensively used. Now going on to the classification, magnets can be classified in various forms based on the type of magnetism as repulsion and attraction. Based on the type of magnetic field, we have the open field and the closed field. In closed field, we have rectangular closed field sandwich technique and circular closed field sandwich technique. They can also be classified based on alloys used, based on the number of magnets in the system, and based on the ability to maintain the magnetic properties as soft magnets and hard magnets. Now, what are the types of dental magnets that have been used right from the use of dental magnets in prosthetic dentistry as well as orthodontics? First, we have the Alnico, which was used in 1930, which is an alloy aluminum, cobalt, nickel and iron. Then we have the samarium cobalt, which has high magnetic properties and very good stability. We have the ceramic magnets, which are available in two forms, the hard ferrite and the flexible ferrite. The bonded powder, which is ideally suited for the production of bonded magnets. Then the neodymium iron boron, which is the most powerful and commercialized magnet which is used today, but it has a disadvantage of being brittle and it has low corrosion resistance. Finally is the samarium iron nitride, which is recently developed for dental and medical applications. It has very good resistance to temperature, high temperature and corrosion, and it is still under development. Now, what are the applications of dental magnets in prosthodontics? We have magnetically retained overdentures, magnetically assembled sectional dentures, magnets in maxillofacial processes, and transitional overdenture construction. An overdenture is a removable process that covers the entire occlusal surface of a root or an implant. Now here the magnets were cemented into the cavities of previously endodontically treated to attract the magnets embedded in the lower denture. Here we have a photograph of implant retained overdentures. This is an example of another magnetically retained overdenture where the magnetic keepers were first incorporated into the bridge, and then we have the denture which is placed in the and then finally it's cured with self-cure. And this is again an example of magnetically retained overdenture. Magnetically assembled sectional dentures. Now this is a case that was done in our department where the patient had a restricted mouth opening after partial maxillectomy. So a fabrication of sectional processes was planned to hold the sections of the processes together. First, the conventional denture was processed, and here the magnets are placed on the polished surface of a hollow bulb that was done, and then on the intabular surface of the conventional denture in order to hold the sectional processes in position. At the Dyna Dental Engineering, those kind of magnets were used and laser welding was done for the encapsulation. First, the hollow bulb is inserted, and then the conventional denture is inserted. This is another case of restricted mouth opening due to scleroderma. Here a sectional collapsed trial denture was fabricated with clip hinges and dental magnetic attachments. This is the metal framework. We have a single anterior segment and two posterior segments. We have a hinge in between the two posterior segments where it can collapse the denture during the insertion. So this is the sectional collapsible denture that is available, and finally, even though it has restricted mouth opening, the denture can be inserted. Finally, magnets in maxillofacial process. This is very important over here because a lot of the times the operators face difficulties due to anatomical considerations. Dental magnets have effectively been used for the retention, maintenance and stabilization of the combined maxillofacial processes. It was Robinson in 1963 who first used horseshoe magnets to retain the obturator for a patient with complete maxillectomy. This is an example of auricular processes where the implant abutments are first placed, then a composite bar with a magnetic keeper is attached. Composite bar is secured with gold screws. Two magnets are incorporated into the fitting surfaces of the ear processes, and finally the ear processes are anchored over the composite bar. Now what has made dental magnets so successful? The advantages being Small size but very strong attractive forces. They are easier to clean, rebase, reline and repair. They are automatically resetting, non-obtrusive in the mouth, and they have non-diminishing retentive properties, favorably distributing the forces to the supporting oral structure. Now, what effect do these dental magnets have on human tissues? There have been various studies and researches conducted in this field. So it was Berman in 1960 from his various studies who concluded that magnetism is completely innocuous to the tissues. An in vitro study of osteoblasts failed to show any differences in the cell cultures when exposed to the static fields associated with these magnets. This is an interesting study which was carried on, the investigation to examine the safety of dental samarium cobalt magnets for patients with implanted cardiac pacemakers. Here, the particular type of the magnet which we use was placed over the skin under the pacemaker, and it showed that the magnets did not affect the pacemaker or its working, or it did cause any problem for the patient itself. Furthermore, the magnetic fields did not produce any effect on the blood flow, did not cause any change in the human dental pulp or the adjacent gingival tissues. So thus, from the available evidence, the dental use of cobalt samarium magnets is most unlikely to cause any harm to the tissues. Finally, if something has so many pros, it has to have cons. The disadvantage of magnets being loss of magnetism over a period of time. And they can undergo tarnish and corrosion, and this can in turn cause discoloration of the processes. There has to be some solution, which is encapsulation. There are various types of encapsulation that is available: acrylic resin casing, stainless steel casing, phenolic resin coating, polyurethane liner and Velcro. And finally, the most important and what is widely used is the laser welding. Thus, to summarize, magnets are successful in retention for both intraoral and extraoral processes. Various improvements have been made in the materials to fabricate magnets, and different surface coatings have been made. Development of newer magnets with better resistance to corrosion and its introduction into the field of dentistry is awaited with much enthusiasm. I would like to thank our Dean and the organizing committee for giving me this opportunity, and thank you all for your patient listening.